feature and get started now. Visit GoBarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
With the 32nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Josh Simmons, tackle, Ohio State.
This guy, from a talent standpoint, is top 15 if he was healthy. Andy Reid does, have a little bit of a looser standard, but I love this guy's movement. I love his arm length. He's a prototypical tackle, and if he's healthy, I think the Chiefs got the steal in the first round.
With the 20th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Jahdae Barron, DB, Texas.
For the 1-2 off-speed changeup, strike 3 called, and Great Bend takes game 1 of this doubleheader. The 4th strikeout of the game for Pendergrast, and she will get the win. 11-5 the final here in game 1.
On the ground through the right side, base hit. India comes around third, and he's in to score. Bobby Witt Jr. has a hit with a runner in scoring position, and the Royals have a 3-0 lead.
Work a little hard, try to get better every day. It's a hard game. And that's part of the game. I like to play hard.
You get a chance to win, as we talk about all the time, one at a time, but when you stack 3 together, that's the best you can do in a series. So I'm happy for the guys. We talked about how hard they worked and the fight they had on the road trip. It's easy to say that we didn't win, so it's easy to point out the things that didn't go well.
Definitely played in the familiarity a little bit, going to a game or two every year. Growing up a K-State fan does mean something, and you can kind of envision seeing yourself playing out there when you grew up watching it is always something that I think is really cool to think about.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. It is the Friday show. Yes, the weekend is here. Steve Webster with you here in the Mayo Money Management Studios, joined by guest host Garrett Fitzpatrick today.
Good Friday afternoon.
Yes, and also our executive producer, who is responsible for everything that goes out on the video. And if it doesn't work, Landon Winkler. Did I cover that well for you, Landon? You got that down?
Yep, pretty much.
Okay, all right. So
at least he didn't give your phone number or anything.
That's true.
Well, that hasn't come in yet. I mean, it is available.
Last thing I need is texts or calls from potential spam.
Yeah, my favorite caller during the show. Yeah, potential spam. Well, I'm glad you could join us here on a rainy, damp, old, cold Friday. On the show today, this has been a week where you have guests lined up, but then their schedule they have games that get moved and they're playing and so nothing.
Yeah, softball's had quite the experience, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
Been high.
Yeah, so maybe we will, maybe we won't. Kerry Mitten will not be here today, but we may have a couple players. We don't know.
Maybe.
So you just got to be prepared.
That's right.
Okay, also on the show, Sunflower Sports Solutions, Connor Nickel. We'll have our Friday visit with him. And KVGB Track and Field Insider Mike Corson will highlight some of the best performances of the week on the track and in the field, and all of Friday headlines and the sounds of the past 24 hours or so. Garrett Fitzpatrick, one of our KVGB rainfall reporters, one of many, and it's kind of you got this Larned rivalry going on with Gary Wagner right now.
Yeah, I do with Wag, yep.
And I don't. There were some accusations going back and forth that I got involved with.
Yeah.
That you guys said that you give me yours, and then Wags calls in and finds out what it is, and then he puts his higher.
Right. Kind of wondering.
That kind of hurt a little bit. No,
well,
it's like if say the Great Bend Panthers are playing Goddard Eisenhower. The Goddard Eisenhower coach gives me stats.
Uh-huh.
But it's kind of like the radio man Creed. You don't turn those stats over to Great Bend coach.
There you go.
So I carry that over into rainfall reporting.
Okay, well, I apologize. And Wag's a great guy. You know, no doubt about it, he's not doing that. Don't just put your phone down.
Did you have a close-up look on his face, Landon? I wanted to see because it. Wow.
He is a great guy.
It's not a rivalry if I always win.
That's a good point there.
There's that great guy.
That great guy. You know, he's got that starting pistol, so I got to be good.
And a cannon in his driveway, too.
Yeah.
He's over on the west side of the creek, man. You got to watch those guys.
He has to wake up Buddy. You know, when it's time to go to a game, he has to wake him up.
A shot across the city. Okay, let's get to our sounds the past 24 hours. NFL draft last night, and Chief fans who wanted to see who they were going to get had to wait till the last pick of the night. That is, it was really interesting. The Chiefs had the last pick, the way it turned out, in the first round, 32nd overall. They not only made that pick, but they got an extra pick.
I thought they were trading up to get Sanders. Or trade down.
Well,
they traded. No, they traded up.
No, they traded down. Yeah, Philadelphia came up. They wanted the linebacker, and the Chiefs said, we're going to get our offensive lineman probably in the second round if we want to get him.
Right.
And they were able to worm a fifth-round pick out of him. So anyway, the Chiefs, that was the commissioner announcing the Chiefs trade they made with Philadelphia. They gave up 31. Moved back to 32 and also picked up a fifth-round draft pick from the Eagles. Josh Simmons missed most of last season. A patellar tendon.
Painful sounds.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So some teams didn't really maybe want to take a high pick on him. Mike Tannenbaum, ESPN, former general manager, saying it could be the steal of the first round. Chiefs got their offensive tackle, and they get an extra pick that they will use in the next 2 days. So now the Chiefs will have pick number 63 in the second round, 2 picks in the third round, 66 and 95. Round 4, which is 133. Then they pick up a fifth-round pick they didn't have. Then they'll have 3 seventh-round picks.
I believe I heard they said that lineman was still second-team all-conference. I mean, he only played, what was it, like 3 or 4 games this year? Yeah, but he's still second-team all-conference, so sounds like he's good and get healthy.
But isn't it nice when you figure that, okay, well, Chiefs don't need him to start the season, okay?
Right.
If he gets better than this guy, so that's not a bad gamble. So there you go. Rounds 2 and 3 taking place tonight. The Broncos, I thought they were going to go with a running back.
That's what they were
talking about. And he went 2 players later. That was Amarian Hampton from North Carolina. Broncos go with J.D. Barron, cornerback from Texas. Man, Broncos defense pretty good. You put him back there with Patrick Surtain. So that was their pick in the first round of the NFL
No one
draft.
throws the ball in their division, though, do they? I mean, you know.
Everybody throws the ball.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true. I like the old days when
Franco Harris up the middle, rambling, mumbling, Mean Joe Green. There you go. Okay.
Oh, and I didn't know who your favorite football team was. And why wouldn't it be? I mean, you know, you're a New York Mets fan.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't your favorite football team be the Steelers?
That's right. That's right. Terry Bradshaw.
You jumped on the bandwagon when you were a small kid.
I did. I'll be honest. I did.
So what'd they do last night?
They took a defensive tackle out of Michigan State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you happy with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I was fine with that. You can always use O-line and D-line. You really can. I mean,
the Dallas Cowboys, everybody gets excited about taking an offensive guard in the first round, right?
Right.
Tyler Booker from Alabama is taking offensive guard. Cam Ward goes number 1. Jacksonville moves up to hire an assistant general manager, and Travis Hunter, who said he wasn't going to play for anybody unless he could go both ways. Abdul Carter from Penn State, Will Campbell from LSU, the number 4 pick to New England, and the Browns, who moved down. They traded their pick to Jacksonville. They got a defensive tackle. So anyway, Ashton Jeanty, what do you think about him?
Oh, I'd love to see him in the Steeler backfield, but it just wasn't going to happen.
Is he the guy that you want to change the trend on, taking a running back that high?
We'll see. Man, he's fun to watch. I don't know. You know, the way football is right now, like you said, everyone throws the ball and whatever, but...
Well, he did a lot of good things, Boise State, when they weren't playing a team that was...
And who's his head coach now?
For the Raiders?
Yeah.
You can ask me
that. Sorry, didn't they?
Who do they have?
Pete Carroll. What did he do? What did he do with?
But I don't think.
That's a good system, I think. For him.
I don't.
Man, I've seen him run over some good dudes.
Well, okay,
but we'll see. But I thought that was kind of a neat pick there with him and Carroll. And
did you see the crowd?
Well, I want to talk about. Okay,
they estimated over 200,000 fans there.
That was crazy. But I had to change channels and hit my guide. I thought I was on Fashion Week. Those guys that come out, you know, the ones that are in the green room, they're coming out with the bling and I want some guy to put cowboy boots on, blue jeans, a nice shirt, carry a lunch pail out there with no earrings, no bling or nothing. That'd be the guy I'd draft.
What are you going to wear? You're going to show up, you're going to be the number one draft pick, and you're going to show up with blue jeans and a hoodie.
No, not a hoodie, a nice shirt.
Okay.
Pair of cowboy boots. No sunglasses, no bling, carrying a lunch pail. That's the guy I'm drafting.
I wouldn't want to be the guy that dressed up and sat there the whole time.
Yeah,
wasn't Brady Quinn one year?
There was a few. I think there was a couple in that room there. I think the Alabama quarterback Milton, which I think the Steelers may try to get later on. I think he was there and didn't get.
And
picked.
then all of a sudden, they're not there because they kind of let him out the back door. So yeah, Shedeur Sanders didn't. He didn't go. He
had his own room built for it.
So we'll see who goes in the second round today.
There you go.
Okay, other sounds of the past 24 hours or so. That was a Wellbrook on the call yesterday on Eagle Radio in Great Bend.
He spells his name wrong, by the way.
Garrett Wellbrook with a final call as the Great Bend Lady Panthers wrap up their 11-5 win over Hayes High yesterday.
Nice.
And then they, after like a 2-hour lightning delay, Hesh has got too much metal in his head. I mean, you know, for him to be out there, that's pretty dangerous.
I was listening to him, and they just got ready to start. Both teams took their infield out.
He said it was a gigantic bolt of lightning.
I didn't hear it, but he was like, okay, everyone's in there, getting their warm-up pitches in. Oh, wait, we had lightning delay.
Well, yeah, Hesh is safe.
Okay, good.
So, and he's going to Kansas City, so he'll have some broadcast of the Great Bend Panthers. Big win, though, for Great Bend as they just continue to slug their way along. They improved to 8-0 in the Western Athletic Conference, 14-4 overall. Hayes has lost 5 games in a row. They're now 5-3 in league play, 9-6 overall. So now Great Bend turns their attention to Garden City. Now they still have to take care of Hayes because they go up there. They have to finish that series with a game on Monday. Then, where's my schedule at? They play Garden City on Tuesday. I don't know if that's a single game or a doubleheader. Let's see. Garden City. We got Garden City.
I believe that was a single game.
Yeah, a single game, and that's going to be here on Tuesday, and then they go out to Garden City to play 2.
Is it?
On
Okay.
Thursday. Yeah.
Okay.
So Garden City winning yesterday, but not very impressively against Liberal, who's better, but 7-4 and 12-10. Feeling good about the Great Bend Lady Panthers.
We should. Yes. Good luck to them.
14-4. Great Bend Panther baseball team. Hopefully they can get these games in. It's going to be a good measuring stick for them today. They'll be at Gardner Edgerton High School. They take on Lee Summit North in a single game today, and then 2 tomorrow. St. Thomas Aquinas, 10:30 in the morning. Hesh will have the call for you on B1043 The Point starting at 10:15. And then at Great Bend will play Gardner Edgerton right after that.
Yes.
So 3 games coming up for Great Bend, who's now 11-3 on the season.
There's some Barton Aquinas coach, I believe it's Rick Sabbath, played at Barton, played at Fort Hays. You got Randy Beck, of course, for Great Bend. And Joel Thamer coaches for DeSoto, which I don't believe Great Bend plays them, but Joe Thamer played at Fort Hays too. So there's a little Fort Hays plug up there.
Look at that.
That's right.
So Great Bend played their games at DeSoto last year, and now they're playing at Gardner Edgerton. Hayes, I believe, has 2 games scheduled today in DeSoto. So this is a big tournament that they put together. Okay, some other baseball results from yesterday. Barton Cougars were cruising. They'd won 19 in a row. Went to Dodge City yesterday. Lost the first game 8-4. Dodge with a 5-run 5th inning, and then in a nightcap, Barton led by 5. Dodge City, though, outscored Barton 8-2 over the final inning and a half. Won it 9-8 on a walk-off grand slam.
I have a feeling that was a quiet ride from Dodge City last night.
I would say so. That Jayhawk West baseball race is very interesting now because it looked like Barton was just going to cruise in there, and then Dodge City kind of threw their hat in the ring. Dodge improved to 28-20. They're 12-14 in league. So Barton now technically still leads the league. They're 24-6, but they're tied in the loss column with Cloud County, who's 19-6. Now, Barton plays at home tomorrow. Their final 2 regular season conference games against Dodge City at Lawson Biggs Field. Okay, then they will have a non-conference series with Coffeyville. So they've got 4 games next week, but they'll be done in conference. Cloud has 2 tomorrow in Concordia with Colby, and that includes the resumption of a suspended game that started earlier this week. They won the first game of that series with Colby 5-1. Then they have a 4-game series with Garden City, who's next to last in the standings. And Barton beat Cloud 3 out of 4 times this year, so but I think that they'll give co-championships for the regular season. I would think the tiebreaker, of course, Barton won 3 of 4. Yeah, man, it's hard to win 20 games in a row, Garrett.
Well, it is. Yep.
So anyway, there's the setting. Barton 24-6, Cloud County 19-6, but Barton after Saturday will be done in conference play. Barton Lady Cougars will host Hutchinson tomorrow, sophomore day, out at Cougar Field, and Hutchinson leads the league 26-4. Barton is 2 games back at 24-6. They could sweep and tie Hutchinson, but that would mean Butler's probably going to win the league because Butler plays at Pratt tomorrow, and Pratt's next to last in the conference standings. So Region 6 tournaments next week, and been a good season for Carson DeBose and the Lady Cougars.
Yes.
Up there rubbing elbows with Butler and Hutchinson. Okay, some other sounds. Bobby Witt extending his hitting streak to 16. Royals extended their winning streak to 4 yesterday. Witt Jr. extending his hitting streak to a career best 16 games. That's highlighted an RBI single in the 5th. Royals beat the Rockies 6-2. That capped off a doubleheader sweep and series sweep. The Royals rallied for a 7-4 win in the opener. Salvador Perez for the Iuka Hustlers yesterday. 5 hits, 4 doubles, 5 RBIs.
Nice. Against the lonely 4-20 Royals.
The Rockies.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Well,
Rockies.
Okay, the Rockies.
Yeah, they were playing, yeah.
Salvi talking about it. Salvi went into the series hitting 185. Drake Baldwin of the Braves had replaced him in the starting lineup for Iuka earlier in the week.
Uh-oh.
Got Salvi's attention. Thank you very much, Royals fans.
Okay.
And Matt Quatrero saying it's nice to get going. Everybody was down on us. We lost 6 in a row. We've now lost 4 in a row. Well, they get the Astros tonight, game 1 of weekend series 6 here on KVGB. And Ian Premer on the podcast talking about K-State, how cool it is being recruited by the team that basically he grew up a fan of.
Yeah.
He had good things to say about KU, too. And it's down to 5.
It's down to 5. And as well as I tried, Nebraska's not one of them. At the mud volleyball tournament last year, I told Ian, hey, Nebraska has a heck of a volleyball team. But good luck to the kid. Man, I'm happy. That's awesome.
Great kid.
Oh, man.
Great kid. He'll visit Michigan first, KU, then Notre Dame, Iowa State. Matt Campbell is a regular at Great Bend Panther basketball games this year. So was K-State.
I put on a little social media thing that someone for KU was talking about, or K-State was about the Goodland Kerr kid.
Yeah.
Going there and saying, Ian probably won't go to K-State because he won't want to sit behind him. I put on there, who's to say Ian's going to sit behind him?
Are you very well said? I think we had that discussion, with Mike Corson yesterday morning.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe.
Well,
If he
and
goes
of course,
to K-State, maybe Lincoln Kerr is going to look to go somewhere else.
right. And of course, someone replied back to me, well, he's not going to be there next year. I was like, come on, seriously? You know what I meant.
That's why I don't go on those chitter-chatter things. It's too much anxiety.
There you go.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Doesn't look like we have Lady Panther softball, so we get bonus Garrett time today. Can you switch around
extra innings
for segment number 2?
Extra innings.
Okay, extra innings with Garrett Fitzpatrick coming up next on Sports Day.
Cheers, this is Happy.
Hadley, what's going on? I've been trying to call you for the past half hour.
Well, Papa, ever since you started this big sale, the phones have been like crazy.
That's a good thing, Hadley. And didn't I ask you to name the sale?
I did. It's a sale. It's so good you won't believe it.
Oh, Hadley, it is so good you won't believe it.
C&E Doors is offering steel on both sides 9x7 white doors for the same price as vinyl backliner doors. Call today.
High school seniors, get ready for what's next. Barton Community College enrollment days are back, and you can get everything set for this fall in just one day. Meet with advisors, pick your classes, tour campus, and more. No stress and no hassle, just your future ready to roll. Don't miss out, spots fill up fast. Register now through July 22nd. Visit enroll.bartonccc.edu today, where your future starts now.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead into financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Going strong since 2011. It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Brought to you by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
All right, Garrett. Your final thoughts today. It's a quick overtime. Up there you go. Okay.
Quick overtime, huh? Well, hey, I'm going to shout out a little bit about golf here. Okay.
All right. Do it.
We have a Fort Hays State golf tournament, their MIAA championship. A local product, Cole Streck, graduated Great Bend High School. He went out to Dodge City for a couple of seasons there, and now he's up at Fort Hays. And he finished, he finished 4th in the MIAA championship, and with a 4 under par. So he earned all MIAA honors. Shot around, first round was 1 over par, and then he came back with a blazing 4 under par and finished the 3-round tournament with 1 under par. So congratulations to Cole. Like I said, he local Great Bend product, playing a little golf for the Tigers.
You bringing it strong.
Hey,
I've only got till the end of May, so we're looking for Sports Day hosts coming up. So
there you go. Okay, man. Also, shout out to the Barton men's golf team. They finished 4th at the Region 6 Championship at Sand Creek Station earlier this week. Caleb Lambert, Canadian, finished 5th overall with a 7 over par, and he earned first team all-region. We had Ted Gimzel, maybe, something like that, from Sweden. Shot 10 over, finished in a tie for 10th place, so he earned second team all Region 6 honors. And the golf team heads out to Kansas City for the, what are they calling it, the South Central District Championship this weekend. And the girls, Barton, I don't have the stats or anything on them, they're also playing this weekend. So Mr. Coach Kaiser splitting duties, going 2 ways.
Garrett, appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Garrett Fitzpatrick with us, Connor Nickel up next, and Mike Corson coming up here on Sports Day.
From the Mail Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Dr. Nels here with Animal Medical Center, and today we want to have a leadership moment and talk about leadership is not about production. It's not about the numbers. It's not about production. It's about reproduction, because great leaders reproduce themselves to make sure things can go on beyond them. Let's think about leadership. If you're in that position, we're all leaders though. It's not about production. It's about reproduction. Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, large or small, we take care of them all.
Marmy Auto Group makes it happen. Central and Western Kansas. Check out our selection of new and pre-owned inventory. Marmy's friendly staff offers top quality service that you've gotten to know over the years. When your existing vehicle needs parts or service, our experienced team will get you back in the game this season. Marmy Chevrolet, GMC, Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, parts, service, and body shop. Visit Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street or marmys.net. Marmy's, make it happen.
What's going on in high school sports? Well, let's ask him. Sports Day is proud to welcome in Sunflower Sports Solutions' Connor Nickel.
Connor Nickel with us on the Friday show. It's brought to you by C&E Doors, your full-service garage door company. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison in Great Bend. Also, Freedom Claims Management, innovative healthcare plans for your business. Let them take care of everything for you from start to finish. Continued support, they have you covered. And Eller Automotive Repair, where they specialize in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of small trucks. Connor Nickel joining us here on a rainy day in the Golden Belt. Kind of tough navigating around softball, baseball, track, everything else. So I guess you just throw it out there and see if you can make it work on that particular day.
Yeah, this is, well, it's interesting because Russell got moved to the Bickelschmidt Sports Complex in Hayes. So they're still going to try and play today. They're going to be on the turf. But, yeah, if you're on a grass or, dirt field, the havoc has kind of reigned here for the last day or so. And I know as well that there were some games that was, Hayes High, Great Bend, and they one of them, the softball, only got in one game. There's some track meets halted halfway through on Thursday. So yes, the rain is playing a role here.
Well, and we talk a lot about softball and baseball with you on here, Connor, but I just want to talk about because you're tracking track and field as well, and some things that have stood out for you so far this season as we're getting down toward the end of, all spring sports season, but track and field as well, Connor.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight Kinsey Zorn from Russell. It's a name that maybe not everybody knows, but it's a name that she is having just a tremendous year. So last year, the Russell girls took fourth in the MCL. Russell girls had their best basketball season in several years this winter. They beat Oakley. They beat TMP. They had a nice wrestling season, too, on both the boys and the girls' side. Last year, Kinsey Zorn was part of a 4x8 relay at the conference meet that actually broke a 34-year-old school record from 1990. And the 1990 relay actually had her mom on it. And she has picked up right where she left off last year, and she has just had a huge year. Kinsey Zorn at the Plainville meet this week ran under 1 minute in the 400, won that race that has a lot of very quality runners in it. I mean, Ellis was there, and Ellis was second as a team in 2A last year and returned the bulk of their top people. And so Zorn was also third in the 200. Evelyn Merriman, who was a state qualifier for Ellis last year, won that event. And then Morgan from La Crosse has also put together a great season, too. She was second in the 200. Zorn was third. And then there was a sizable gap kind of after that. And then Merriman and Morgan went 1-2 in the 100. So, Morgan, we've talked about her in several sports. I've just been super impressed with her. I mean, she is just so long and so athletic, a very talented family. And it's been really, really impressive to see Zorn and Morgan so far this year. And then sometimes we forget about the relays, but the relays for Russell, which again Zorn is part of, have been really, really strong so far. When you look at that meet, Russell finished third, Norton was first, Ellis was second, and Russell was third. And then again, La Crosse was sixth, but Morgan scored a high percentage of their points.
There's a lot of good sprinters in this part of the state, especially on the girls' side this year.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. This is an extremely strong sprinting field, and part of that has to do, particularly on the 3A down, that there's just a lot of seniors. You have a lot of seniors. You look again at the Plainville 100 girls. 4 of the top 6 were seniors. Morgan's obviously a junior, and then Merriman, who quite honestly is just a freak athlete, is only a sophomore. So, I mean, she may be a sophomore in age, but she's a senior just in terms of strength and body. And then you look at the 200 as well, a number of seniors in that top 6. So it's just been really, really impressive. You don't always see that on the girls' side, but this year you are seeing a lot of seniors in the sprints kind of rise up. We've talked about this Zimmerman girl from Hayes High being a sophomore, but competing at the All-American level in summer track, and the hurdles. She has been really, really impressive. And then you look at some other meets as well, where the Walker girl from Larned, another great example. She's also a senior, finishing high in the sprints. Kennedy Grizzle from the Lions, another quality sprinter who is a little bit older too.
Yeah, and Biddle from Hoisington's having another good year. So, yeah, it's fun to watch. Anything else standing out about the track and field season so far for you?
Yes, the other thing is Ness City. I mean, Ness City, girls and boys side, Patrick Younger, he's been there 15-plus years. Patrick Younger, a lot of people really enjoy him a lot. I enjoy him a lot too. He's one of those people that once you meet him, you never forget who he is. Just very, very charismatic dude, high energy guy. He's won 5 or 6 state titles between cross country and track with Ness City, and a number of second and thirds. I know he's got at least 2 seconds, 2 thirds, but he has got a really, really good track team, particularly in the sprints. The distance is what Ness has been known for a long, long time. But I mean, Patrick Younger and Ness City, I think that they are the team to beat, certainly on the girls' side in the CPL, and I think they are a true state contender. There's always the Axtels and the Hanovers in particular on the girls' side this year, but Ness City is probably a top 3 team in track.
Okay, softball yesterday, they got 1 in, and Great Bend again putting up double digits against Hayes High. They'll play again on Monday to try to complete that 3-game series. Then Great Bend and Garden City will tangle next week as well. But so far, so good for the Great Bend Panthers against Hayes High.
Yeah, and, frankly, I think some of the things that we've talked about with Hayes High are now kind of getting exposed, and some of the strengths for Great Bend are really showing up, too. We have talked about Great Bend's depth for some time, their ability to hit the ball really, really well. And then, I mean, their pitching is solid, but not first-team All-State pitching, so you're going to win games like what they did, 11-5. I think, shall we say, both teams showed up, okay? And for Great Bend to just continually hit the ball against a really good pitcher in Riley Dreher, to put up 19 hits against Dreher, that shows, again, Great Bend's depth in their lineup. I mean, they're hitting .419 as a team. Wesson McCauley having a huge year. Deshauna Bryant, 12 extra base hits. Great Bend, as a team, has 58 doubles, and that in 17 games. I mean, that's 3+ doubles a game. Their ability to hit it for power is probably, in my mind, going to lead Great Bend back to state. Now, you're not going to win 12-5 games at state. That's been proven and shown out for a long time. But Great Bend's offense, I'm not surprised. They beat Mays High, as you talked about last week, and we mentioned Mays South. Saw this week Mays South's ace, Sophia Stockard, has now committed Division I, and I think got her 200th career strikeout. So, again, Hays High ran into a buzzsaw in Dodge City last week, and as their schedule's gotten harder, you've seen some losses. And on the flip side, plenty of credit to Great Bend. I mean, their ability to hit the ball, not only put the ball in play, but with power, is just so impressive.
Now they get Garden City next week, too. And then we, of course, still got that game with Hays on Monday. Garden City really struggled. I mean, Liberal's better this year, but Garden City seems to be a team that can hit the ball, but maybe not pitch it as well. They had the second game of the doubleheader. They beat Liberal 12-10. How do you see Great Bend and Garden City next week?
Yeah, well, the Whitehurst girl has thrown well. Outside of her, and then Piper Harris, I think that it does drop. Garden City had fared decently well the other day against some really, really good pitching. I believe it was Clearwater who they played, and they had the outstanding pitcher. But I mean, Whitehurst and Piper are two really, really nice players. But again, we kind of talked about Great Bend's depth earlier on. I don't know if Garden City quite has the depth. So yeah, Garden City 11-2 right now, and it was actually Derby. I'm sorry, I think I said in Clearwater, but Derby, who that was a 1-zip game, but then again Mays South crushed them. Again, I think Garden City has got two great players in the pitcher, and then Harris, a 4-year starter in both volleyball and softball. But the depth past that, I think, is lacking compared to some other teams. And again, as the season goes along, how we view these results change. Early on in the season, maybe Goodland 10-zip and 10-1. Goodland's a pretty good team. They're experienced. They brought a lot back. But as the season has gone on, we've seen Goodland honestly struggle quite a bit. And so, the prism of those early season results maybe not viewed in the same light as what they were a couple of weeks back.
All right, Connor, then let's take your other tidbits from baseball and softball here as we close out our Friday segment.
Yeah, certainly. So I know I've said it a couple times, but it's just so rare to see this. Right now, TMP is the only team in Kansas that is undefeated in both baseball and softball. And there are times when you go through a really special season, and that's what TMP is doing right now on both sides. And sometimes, I do want to set this too, sometimes we, overlook a small school team with an undefeated record, but 2-1A softball statewide this year, McLeod, 20-0, two-time state champion, has maybe, and there's no hyperbole here, maybe the best player in Kansas. I mean, Danny Lee is going to a top 25 Division I program, She lives, eats, and breathes softball. They have beaten some bigger schools this year handily. Bennington, kind of faces some Golden Belt area schools. They're in the same region as what Ellenwood's in. I mean, again, as I mentioned this, Ellenwood 7-7. This was I believe 6-15 team last year. So this now for several weeks, Ellenwood is a much improved team, but they're in a great region. I mean, Bennington is good. Bennington has a great right-handed pitcher who's really, really tall. Inman, we talked about their sophomore class. And I wanted to highlight again Ellenwood several times because they're in a regional that may be next to impossible to get through. But let's also give the Eagles credit, and then Bluestem, Leon Bluestem, undefeated, too, and of course TMP is also perfect, and then Cedarville Dexter, 2-1A softball this year. Sometimes people sleep on it like, they don't play quality competition or they don't play a full schedule or other things people say. But 2-1A softball this year, I would put up against a lot of 3A and even some 4A teams this year. This is a banner year for this class for sure.
So you're not taking Dodge City to upset TMP today in softball?
No, this is not going to be close. And I do want to say this too because it involves a Golden Belt thing. So of course, Sean Steiner from Claflin is the AD at Dodge City. Many of us know him from various state events. He'd be Chris Steiner's brother. He is a great dude. And his daughter, Tatum Steiner, I talked to her at state basketball. She's Dodge City's best player. She's committed to the Butler for softball. She's a great catcher. She has been out most of the year. In fact, I don't know if she's even played yet, but she was expected to come back in mid-season. Suffered a kind of a not a great injury, and she has been out, and that really hurts Dodge City. I mean, Dodge City was going to struggle anyways. Then you take off your best player for sure, and it's really, really been a tough year for Dodge, and I think TMP will win fairly handily today.
Yeah, Tatum Steiner got hurt right at the end of basketball season. That was a tough deal. Real quick, Maxville, Kinsley, how are they doing right now?
Yeah, still really high on them. I think one of the coolest things is when you have a breakout season. It just gets everybody and just warm feelings for everybody. And Kinsley and Maxville 8-2 this year. They're in the Elkhart regional. Elkhart is traditionally a very good baseball program, but again, this team is much improved. You're looking at a lot of those same basketball kids who face each other in basketball. I know the Esparza kid plays. He is a solid player. From what I have gleaned, you just got a solid group of competitive kids. No, maybe one standout, but just solid kids across the board. Expected to have a breakout season, and they certainly are.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to see them in Great Bend at State. Connor, appreciate it, and stay dry. We'll talk to you next week.
I surely see you, Steve-O. Thanks so much.
Okay, Connor Nickel joining us here on Sports Day today. Our show brought to you by Great Bend Rec Commission, dedicated to improving our community and the lives of its individuals, and Equity Bank. Here when you need them. Bank local, save big, in-person banking and business banking. Visit equitybank.com. Speaking of track and field, which we touched on a little bit there with Connor, we're going to run it down for you with our KVGB Track Insider. Mike Corson, that's next, coming up on Sports Day.
Delay is a dirty word. What fuels me to stay on schedule? My clients, their clients, and everyone's bottom line. What fuels my fleet? Cenex Roadmaster XL, a premium diesel fuel formulated with its best additive package yet to clean the entire fuel system for more power, less maintenance, and better fuel economy. Cenex Roadmaster XL, fueled by innovation, powered to perform.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor.
Covering your local teams and your local athletes. It's Sports Day on KVGB, presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Welcome back to the show as we talk track and field with our KVGB Track and Field Insider. It was fascinating to talk with Lyles Lashley, Mike, this week, to talk about Bella Long and what I think she's like 32nd in the country as far as the 2000 steeplechase. And I said, okay, but just jumping over a couple, how can that make it? He said, because she has hurdling experience. Well, hurdling experience is like you just scrape right over the top, you get good hurdling form. But if you knock that hurdle down, the hurdle is going to fall with you. I haven't seen anyone knock one of them barriers down, but he says that's the key, is her hurdling experience is why she's experienced. Plus, she's a good distance runner, too.
If you've never seen the barriers, they've got usually, I think, a carpet type stuff on them, so there is nice traction because your feet are probably going to be wet. And then it's quite a bit wider, so there is, some people hurdle it, and then some people, especially on the water jump, will step on it and then use it as a jumping point. Unless it's the KU relays, cold day, I'm out there watching him fill it, and he even puts his hand in, he says, man, that's cold. I missed all the 800 runs because I wanted to go inside because I was cold. These girls some of them were falling back into their necks, down to their necks in the water.
Well, how deep is that hole?
And that's what
you fell into it at the state track meet that one.
Steeple experience. It's probably maybe, 2.5 feet.
Okay.
But they would get, the professionals mostly jump all the way over it. These girls were jumping midway in and then falling backwards into the deep part. And some of their faces, because it was cold, but they were running 5 laps. And so they knew that it was going to be some misery coming up. And some of them laughed it off, which I appreciated.
Well, yeah, but it's quite a story. I mean, you kind of burst on the national track scene a little bit. I mean, unfortunately, it's not a regular event in Acacia, but that's still pretty cool.
Yeah, not a Acacia event, but what Bella ran at first, probably at pre-state, because that would have been at Wichita State's track where I had my incident. And then KU relay. So even though she's not going to win a state title in that, you think colleges don't see that? Absolutely. That is a big-time college event, so that's something she can put on her resume for that.
Okay, so that was our Lyles Lashley discussion from Monday. Let's get started here with what's happened on the track this week, and I guess we'll start with Tuesday's meet in Scott City, Mike.
So I start doing these results, and I'm lazy, so if I pop up, it's always the boys 100-meter dash. If I see 12s, I'm like, this is going to be a good meet. When I pop them up and they're all 10s, I know I got some work to do. So I try to think, was it hot and windy out that day? Because the times out in Scott City Tuesday, Hoisington was out there, Goodland, Phillipsburg, some pretty good on the short races. So we'll start off with the hurdle field just because we had the big announcement from Ian Premer last night. Well, the other tight end in the state is Goodland's Lincoln Cure. So it was a really tough field. 3 of the best hurdlers in 3A, the top 3. But he got beat by the best 2A kid from Phillipsburg. And then those two went head-to-head in the 300s, and Cure knocked off 300ths of a second to run I think it was a 38.97, so he's under 39 seconds now. So remember, that's a 6'6 frame moving. He's got elite 200 speed, 100-meter speed, 100 hurdle, 300 hurdle, stud.
So you tell me he looks impressive?
I haven't got to see him, but the times for somebody that, when you know he's that big, is like, what is going on?
Okay, Hoiston was out there, and it looks like Tade Morales did some good things.
Yeah, he was starting to come on last year in the pole vault. Obviously, we've had several Ball brothers come through, so Hoisington's always among the 3A leaders. Talon adds a foot to his season best, goes 13.6.
A foot?
He was at 12.6, so now he's 13.6, so that puts him at number 2 in Class 3A, and he's just 3 inches from the lead, so, gosh, add 6 more inches next time.
Okay, Briar Thompson's having a nice season.
So, yeah, he does the short races, so the hurdles too, but this is one of those where he wasn't in my top 16. Now he's up there a ways because he ran, I think, in the 10.8s. So that was one where I'm like, what were the conditions out there? But then you have a kid like Chaitlin Goodwin of Goodland, say that 3 times, and he's one of the best in 3A. He ran off his season best. So you had some kids cutting like half a second, yet some kids that you expect to do well weren't. So that, to me, that legitimizes some of those fast times.
Okay. Tell me about some other 100-meter dash times from this week.
Yeah, just kind of on the season too, I kind of put Ashley Lehman from Heston as the gold standard on the girls' side. So her best 100 time this year is the 3A lead at 12:21. Well, what do you know? We've got two young Barton County ladies who have also posted exactly 12:21s, being Hoisington sophomore Marley Biddle and Ellenwood freshman Reagan Wirtz.
Reagan Wirtz, a freshman, goes 12:25.
She's 12:21 on the best of the season, and then you see Biddle's time, and you're like 12:21. Can she do it again? Yeah. A week later, she goes 12:25. So pretty consistent there. And Reagan Wirtz, I think she opened her season at 18 foot even in the long jump. She's now up to 18.1, I believe. So 2A leader as a freshman, and she's right up there in the 100 and 200 as well.
Okay, tell me about Great Bend Regional, some of the people you're already looking forward to coming to Memorial Stadium and competing in that 5A Regional here in Great Bend.
Last year, I think, especially on the boys' side, it was a little bit weaker. You got 4 regionals, and it's always been the top 4 from every one go, but this year it's going to be the top 3 plus the 4 at-large times. Could loom huge for the Great Bend meet because we're going to have Bishop Carroll, Hayes, the Salina schools. So we just had the Jack Bowman Invitational. Salina Central was here, but their 2 big runners were up at KU. So obviously those girls will be here for regionals, and you got to figure that's going to take one of those spots in the 8, 1632, which is always Great Bend's strong points. And then going back to KU.
Your girl got beat.
Speaking of what happened up at KU, kind of Ryan Miller from Topeka Seaman was probably the favorite going into state last year, got beat. Guessing she didn't like it. So she came out, let Caitlin Roop lead quite a bit in the 3,200 meter. Runs a 67 second final 8th lap. So she's already got the 5A leading time, and probably the state's best time at 57.5 on the 400. But she's running 8 laps, and then she's still running 67-second splits. Just pulling away from everybody. But we won't see her at regionals, but just worth mentioning that there's every year these kids get better. And
is Ruth getting better or staying the same?
No,
what year is she?
Caitlin's a senior now in North Carolina, and Ryan Miller's just a junior. So she is getting better, but she was ahead of her, I think, going into the last lap, and then Miller pulled away and won that 32 by 10 seconds. So her kick is, I don't know if it's best in the nation, but she is, I think, number 3 all-time now in Kansas, and she whooped the kids that were running from the region up at KU.
So she's going to North Carolina.
Caitlin Roop, yeah. I don't know that we have heard anything from Miller. She's a multi-sporter. Who knows what she's up to, but just a junior, so some time.
Okay, what about the strength of the Great Bend Regional coming up here?
Yeah, so with those schools, Hayes is, especially the Hayes boys, always loaded with throwers. So the boys discus, you're going to have 9 of the top 16 in 5A at the moment and 7 of the top 16 in the javelin. So guess what? Great Bend has now got a javelin thrower in that mix. Cooper Omont's known for his jumping, but I guess...
You talked to Shelly Duvall about this. So he just kind of went around. What did he do? Just walk around, practice it? Let me try to throw that.
Yeah, I don't know who lured him in, but I guess he practiced all of about 4 times. And
on the day of the meet?
No. Okay. Probably threw it around 4 times at practice. I guess didn't really want to throw it home, but they said, "No, do it." And he goes 161, gets in the top 16 in Class 5A. So imagine, I went out, 2 years ago and tried to throw a javelin on my first attempt, and granted, I'm not nearly as strong as Cooper, but I think I was in the 70s. So to go out that quick and be throwing 160, I'm going to guess he's going to improve some footwork or some technique, and that's a pretty high ceiling.
So he's got 3 events now. Is he running?
At least. Yeah, we'll see what else. I mean, an athlete like that can, but yeah, definitely still the Emporia kid had allegedly tied him, which I guess it's official, but then that kid came out and it was down a couple feet, so I think he's pretty inconsistent. Cooper added another inch and would have taken the state lead back anyway. I think it's 46.3. So he's very consistent and he's the best in Kansas, so like to see that. Girls high jump has been one we've been tracking forever because Great Bend's had some good high jumpers, and so is Hayes, so is both of the Salina schools. So far, 5 of the top 12 in 5A at that one. So that's where one, Cassie Elligood, is sitting down below that top 4 at the regional at this point. I know she can do better than that, but that's where you will have a weak regional out there where somebody's going to probably clear 4.8, and that will allow some of these other kids that clear 5 foot in a tough regional to get into state.
Okay, boys discus. What do we got there? Oh, we've already talked about 9 of the top 16. So what are you looking at this weekend? Maybe some meets.
Not much. I know Great Bend is headed to Buhler tonight, so that'll be... I haven't looked at the forecast, but I think Salina Central usually shows up at that. Buhler's always got some good distance kids, so be another nice test. And this is where we're midway through the season. Sometimes, as the one who has to go through these meets, it's infuriating that kids are still running new events 4 weeks into the season. So hopefully now we're starting to see kids shore up the events that now they know where they are. I'm going to work on this event instead of seeing what I should be doing.
Okay, you compile all these results. Where can they find them at, Mike?
So those are on catchitkansas.com, posted usually every Wednesday or Thursday. So you can look in there, get the top 16 from each classification, boys and girls, all events, and you can see which regional they're headed to.
Okay, and if someone did miss it, when you mentioned your experience with the triple jump hole in the ground at the state track, what happened, Mike?
So I sent pictures of the steeplechase pit at KU to some people, and I said, see how this happens? It's literally just a hole in the ground. And granted, there's a barrier by it, but there's only a couple tracks we go to with those. So I'm at Cessna Stadium, state track, full house, right in front of the Andale Throwers, always best in the state. And all of a sudden, the ground disappeared under me.
You were just walking across?
Yeah, and I had my camera with me, big old heavy camera.
And you just stepped off into the hole?
Literally, ground disappeared. So I tucked and rolled, protected the camera. You get up and you're a little embarrassed, and all the Andale kids are saying, "Are you okay?" And you just put your arm out in the big old first down.
How to look cool when you fall down into the steeplechase pit.
I don't know how cool it was, but I didn't cry.
So they didn't laugh. They were actually concerned about you.
I suspect there was some laughter, but at the moment they were first concerned and then had their fun.
Okay, well, that's good, though. You at least show compassion early.
And these fellas could have come and picked me up out of there. No problem, the Andale Throwers.
Mike Corson with us, our KVGB Track and Field Insider, with us here on a Friday on Sports Day. More of the show coming up.
This is Hadley.
Hadley, what's going on? I've been trying to call you for the past half hour.
Well, Papa, ever since you started this big sale, the phones have been like crazy.
That's a good thing, Hadley. And didn't I ask you to name the sale?
I did. It's a sale. It's so good you won't believe it.
Oh, Hadley, it is so good you won't believe it.
C&E Doors is offering steel on both sides 9x7 white doors for the same price as vinyl backliner doors. Call today.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec.
Sports, leisure, fitness and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend. Or check out the website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's going to wrap up our show today. Sports Day here on KVGB. I'd like to thank Garrett Fitzpatrick for hanging around for overtime today. Also, Connor Nickel and Mike Corson for joining the show. Well, as baseball tonight, they'll open a 3-game weekend series with the Houston Astros. Coverage begins at 6 here on KVGB. And they'll play at 5:30 Saturday, 12:30 for the broadcast time on Sunday. Don't forget the NFL Draft on Saturday. Day 3 coverage will begin at 11 leading into Royals baseball. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. We'll talk to you Monday on KVGB.